Hello, and welcome back to Podcast Unknown.
Yeah, now with video.
It's been a while. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Where have we been?
Where has my country gone?
Oh no, now we're bringing politics into this. This isn't what we discussed to talk about first. So it's been a while. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you will know that this is what we look like. Hi, my name is Matt. I'm white.
My name is Randon. You can already tell.
He's green. His name is Brandon, and he's green.
Randon, like Brandish of the Bee.
Kind of like Brandon, but if you take the B away, and it makes it so much cooler. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. We added a video. What are some of the other things that we're gonna try and do? I know we talked about making this like a set schedule. We're gonna try and release every other Tuesday. So recording on Tuesday, and uploading the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
Give ourselves a little bit of time. For our viewers, you might have to bear with us because this is definitely something that's in its infancy. This is something that we are trying to make happen.
Yeah.
But this is only episode 2. We're still babies at this, and we're still learning as we go. So you might have to be patient with us. However, that being said, we do value your criticism. Hopefully it's constructive. So we value that. If you want to leave a comment, you want to, just tell us what we could do better, what you want to see, what you want to change. We're doing this for you. So if you just gives any sort of feedback, and we are here for you. This is where if we were both in a K-pop video, we'd like in sync both just do that, like at the same time.
Jeez.
So what's been going on? Anything new in your life?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
That was indeed where we were at right before this. So tell me, why did we go on Tuesday?
Because they have this promotion thing where you'll buy boneless wings, either a snack, I think a medium or a large.
Forgot small. Snack, small, medium, large.
Snack, small, medium, and large. And you'll get an additional one of whatever that size is for free.
For free! So one of the cool things that I really like about that promotion at B-Dubs is, as you know, I got my wings boneless and I got them with sauce on the side. And I do that for a particular reason, which I was telling you. But I want to tell our viewers. I was like, here's a little life hack for you. So if you get your wings on the side, or if you get your sauce on the side, you can control how much sauce you want and how many wings with a particular sauce you want. So for example, if I wanted just like a boatload of Parmesan garlic, I could do that. That's my prerogative. As an American citizen at B-Dubs, I could do that. But you, however, you got sauce on your wings.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel trapped?
No.
To your two sauces?
No, because when I make my sauce choice, it's a conscious choice to be enveloped in that sauce.
Okay, so you thought to yourself, I'm going to get Asian Zing and I'm going to get Thai curry and I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
That's what you thought?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still feel that.
Fair enough. I understand that. Different strokes for different folks. That will float your goat. So B-Dubs was nice.
Can goats swim?
Do what?
Can goats swim?
I don't know, but now I really want to know. I feel like they can. I mean, that's an evolutionary quality. If goats can't swim, how did they live this long?
I mean, there are mountain goats. I feel like they don't know how to swim.
But they can climb. It's like a trade-off.
It's kind of scary when you think about it. Can you imagine, like, you just climbed a mountain, or you're climbing a mountain, and you're already tired and exhausted, and there's not just, like, a goat, but, like, there's a goat with, like, horns, like, giant-ass horns.
And it wants to fight you.
What do you even do?
I can't even imagine. You're just like, all right, I left my wife and our 3 small children at the base of the mountain. I'm climbing up this mountain to try and get, herbs or whatever goats eat. And then you get to the top, and there's just like another goat there with horns, and it's also doing the same thing. And now you guys have to fight, possibly to the death. Like, that's crazy. I'm so happy that human society has evolved beyond that, even though we still have our own issues.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're no longer in the phase where we have to fight over things that are just so trivial. Then again, I mean, I realized as I was saying that, I was like, this is not exactly true.
I know what you mean, like, conceptually. Like, we don't, like, literally have to fight for everything nearly as much anymore. I mean, certainly some places, of course, but, like, you can we have the internet now. Like things, we're not literally in shacks or huts. Not everyone, again, not everyone is literally in a shack or a hut, scrounging to survive for their 8 kids, 4 of which will die next winter.
Yeah, that brings up a really interesting thought. So I'm in a class about criminology right now. So it's kind of like a computer criminology course, but it touches a lot upon the broader aspect of criminology and what makes people do crimes, what makes people commit crimes, and why, and who is a victim to a crime, and just a whole bunch of stuff about crimes. Anyways, we had a guest speaker come in 2-3 weeks ago, and this guy, all he does in life is he studies war and he teaches other people about war. So he knows a ton about World War I and II, obviously, and some of the smaller wars, and he's just a very knowledgeable person.
Is he a big fan of art?
I don't know. I honestly didn't talk. I feel like I'm missing a reference.
Nothing. Sun Tzu. Art of War.
All right, then. Well, anyways, he gave this really good speech about war and everything, and he had questions at the end. And one of my questions was, do you think the rise of technology and the internet has led to a decrease in war or a decrease in violence? So what do you think?
Decrease in violence? No.
Mm-hmm. No.
The decrease in a militarized war type thing? Yeah.
Okay.
Because when America was first founded and they had the Articles of Confederation,
mm-hmm.
it was the prelude to the, it's called, Constitution. Jesus.
No, yeah, that thing. The thing that sets us apart from most other countries.
Well, there was a prelude to the Constitution, and it had the states as kind of a loose confederation.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I think it was Delaware and somewhere else were just going to go to war with each other over land. Legit ass war. Murder each other state-wise to claim land. Now that we have the internet, people can kind of share their feelings and
mm-hmm.
talk back and forth. Even the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is was it the 70s that happened?
Yeah, 60s or 70s. We'd have to go back and watch X-Men to find out, honestly. I think that's the only way we'd be able to find out when the Cuban Missile Crisis was.
No, I know it was during Kennedy's reign.
Mm-hmm. Kennedy's reign of terror. The way you said the reign of the Kennedy family makes it sound like he forcefully took over.
I feel like that all ended in the 60s because he wasn't around for when we made it to space. Space. Yeah. Which I feel was in the very early 70s, or if not the 70s.
I think it was 1969.
Maybe.
Wasn't that the year we went to the moon?
Maybe, but I know that Kennedy wasn't around for it. Never got to actually see it.
And now our viewers are finding out that we're not good at history.
Huh. We know things.
We know things. We know stuff. We know general times.
But that whole situation led to them installing the red phones in the Russia and the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
so they can talk to each other instead of just not communicating at all.
Right, instead of having that barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That was sort of my mindset behind asking that question to the guest speaker.
Yeah.
Was that the spread of information and the spread of just easily accessible knowledge, regardless of where you are in the world, I don't think that's led to a decrease.
Except North Korea.
Yeah, except for North Korea. But that's a whole other story. I don't think that's led to necessarily a decrease in crime, but I do think that that's led to a change in the way that we perceive war, the way that we perceive conflict with other nations.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the old days, pre-internet and information sharing, everything was very secretive, and we had to go off of what we thought the nations were doing and what we thought was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But now we can make more logical, more factual decisions based off of satellite images. For example, we know that countries have X amount of nuclear weapons because we can tell. We just have that sort of technology to do that stuff, whereas 60, 70 years in the past, we just couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting. I think that technology is this force that changes things, and it's not necessarily a good force, but it's also not necessarily bad. It's this force that changes things, and I think it'll be interesting in 200, 300 years to look back. Hopefully, I'm alive then. To look back and see the rapid growth due to technology and what has changed, essentially. So yeah, technology. It's cool, kids.
Yeah, and just real quick on that note. Nowadays they like to put out a lot more that we're heading towards some type of dystopia or dystopian future.
Okay.
And I like to point out that what was it in the early 80s or 70s, around the time of Star Trek, the future was envisioned by Gene Roddenberry was like a lot more hopeful. And it's funny because a lot of the concepts that are in that I've noticed because I've started watching The Next Generation, a lot of the concepts that are in there are prevalent in today's society in like such a way where it's like normal to watch it, but like in retrospect, if you were watching that at the time they came out, like the concepts of like sexuality, gender, equality, all those little things, because every episode has to have a theme, drug abuse, all that stuff is very like super forward thinking for their time period, and only like kind of normal thinking for now. Like everyone else is kind of like on the same page for the more or less. And I don't think that we're heading towards this weird, like dystopian, grungy future just because everyone's too chicken shit to do anything about it.
You don't think that life will be like the Hunger Games in 20 years?
No.
I sure hope not.
I don't think anything like that's going to happen because people are just, in general, too chicken shit to do anything.
Okay.
Which is also part of the problem because that's how evil succeeds. The quote, I'm not exactly sure from where, but it's a saying at this point. Evil succeeds when good men do nothing. Or women, whatever. But when good people do nothing. And the biggest, or I'd say the most detrimental aspect of today's society would be apathy.
Okay, so just not necessarily doing anything?
Yeah, like...
Interesting.
You're not going out of your way to do anything wrong, but you're not going to do anything good.
Right, sort of as, like, you see a crime and you don't step in. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's too many people doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No one's taking charge.
Yeah, everyone's kind of just like the...
Yeah. Like, I don't want to get involved. I want to be out of it. And if everyone's out of it, then it just goes unchecked.
Well, yeah, like, for example, when we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, I noticed that I saw a gnat flying around. And I was appalled, not because there was a gnat, but because it dawned on me that I don't exactly understand what a gnat is. Where does it come from? How long is its lifespan?
Where does it go? Where does it come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Like, I don't know enough about the world physically around me to where I should be just like comfortable doing this. And at large, let's say we did go like nuclear, right? Or some shit pops off, and we just lose all of our like technological advancements. Like, we can't just go to Walmart to buy food. We don't know how to live off the land. We don't even have land to live off of.
No, not really.
We have concrete. We don't know anything about growing crops, seasons. In fact, remember the movie 2012?
I don't remember it in detail, but I do remember the concept of it in certain scenes.
Well, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen a movie from, 6 years ago, spoiler alert.
Towards the end of the movie, they have this giant ark, this giant raft, and it has all these like super wealthy, important dignitary people, and they all like are on board it, and they somehow survive this crazy flood, yada yada, off to find a new land, a new world. And it dawns on me, the audacity of that is like, alright, but who there knows how to connect Wi-Fi? Like, they put a whole bunch, like a shit ton of super important, wealthy people, like the Bill Gateses of the world, the presidents, senators, all those people, not the average working citizens.
Not the people who actually know how to fix the issue.
So they're going to have like a super shitty society that's going to
implode
much. Almost immediately and lose all of the advancements of humanity, all the medicine, the research, the history, all of it's going to go to shit because the people who were pretentious and in power chose to save themselves versus saving everyone else.
So that actually brings up an interesting question that I thought. So earlier today, when we were brainstorming things to talk about, you brought up we talked about interviewing and sort of asking difficult questions. One of the questions that you brought up was like lives of one versus the lives of many. The whole railroad train thing. In a different, slightly related scenario, let's say there's some catastrophe like a zombie apocalypse or some crazy like earthquake, and a lot of people are getting killed or whatnot, and you are in charge of the population of a small community. So a community of people aimed at, fending off the horde or, whatever event, catastrophic event is going on outside. You are in charge of the population. You get to decide who stays and who goes. Would you prioritize the lives of individuals that could further society after the event? So, for example, doctors, engineers, wealthy people that could fund things. Although, I mean, I guess money, depending on the catastrophe, money wouldn't be all that worth it. Or would you prioritize the masses and try and save as many people as possible, regardless of what their skills are? What do you think that you would do?
Well, I mean, I would say it really depends on the situation. Like,
Okay. So let's say, since you said it depends on the situation, zombie apocalypse.
okay.
You got, I don't know, The Walking Dead. You're in charge of Alexandria. The people
Sweet.
come in.
Okay, how many people do I have normally? Like, am I adding people now, or do I already have like a set amount?
You have a small set amount. You have 12 people. So
Only
far.
12?
You have only 12 people.
Men, women, children?
2 kids. The rest are older. Some of them are senior citizens. 2 kids, 4 of them are senior citizens, and the rest are people of childbearing age that aren't necessarily the best at what they do, but they're also not inept. They're just average. Completely across the board average.
How big is this town that I have now? Is it like Westchester?
It's the size of your apartment complex.
Mm.
There's a wall around it.
Wall?
Yeah, there's just a wall around it. You're pretty
course.
set.
Yeah.
You're not you're not trying to go out every day and scavenge and stuff. Like, you're good on food and stuff. The only concern is you don't want to mess up and take in too many people, because then that spreads disease and that spreads riot, and people could mutinize and then you'd be dead. Or do you want to prioritize people who have skills and not necessarily save people that need it?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
So you do a hybrid?
Yeah, like I'd definitely get as many people with skills that I could, but if I have 2 doctors, I'm not going to try to get a third on purpose. But don't get me wrong, with the other half that I wouldn't be able to have, I would definitely direct them somewhere else.
Like where? Just like another safe place?
Yeah, and that would be like the extension. I would try to have, for them to gain admission to our place,
Yeah.
I would try to help them, as well as with the people that I already have working, to make another safe place. Try to spread out a bit.
Okay.
And then they'll be like the frontline people helping to make another society. That way they have their own thing that they're building up, as well as a town to kind of rely on and like go back to. So they wouldn't immediately be granted admission, but they might get a work visa, if you would. So,
we need to build a wall. A wall within our wall. We're going back to the caste system.
but no, but it would work in the sense that if I did, like, say we have like our society kind of running, and we have Rick's group coming in, right?
Sure.
If I was like, I could only fit like 4 of you guys in our group, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you guys, if I can trust you to do these few simple tasks, I'll give you guys like a couple of my people. We'll go help build up a base, and then from there, because at this point I'll have like other people who can take charge while I'm not there.
Right. You'll delegate your work to other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'll personally help them. I'll go and find a place. We'll work together, build a new place, and work back and forth. That way it's kind of like a swirling hybrid of work.
Swirling hybrid of work.
What
The
if
toilet bowl of work.
But if there's ever like super danger, like there's apparently like a horde of like 1,500 zombies coming from one direction, right?
Uh-huh.
If they're at the other town's not ready, I'll pull them into our place and we'll get ready and defend it. Like
Okay, I see.
We'll hold
So
it
you
off.
would essentially try and you would prioritize your cluster of people, and then you try and make a network of other safe areas.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Because
I like
before you can help others, you have to work on yourself.
That's why I never help anybody, because I never help myself. Prioritize yourself above others in every situation.
No.
That's not true. Don't do that. Fake news with Matt. Interesting. Okay. So it looks like we're at about 15 minutes or so. Do you want to pull up the hat? You want to pull up the hat and start doing stuff, or do you think we should talk about something else? I saw you about to make the shot. Were you gonna say Kobe when you did it?
No, I was just gonna sing it in. Hopefully.
Do it. I want to watch you. You got this.
We'll do the hat.
Okay.
Kobe.
Hey, he did it.
Kobayashi.
He did it. Nice, dude. All right, we'll do the hat.
You make sure you gotta show the symbol.
The bat hat. I don't know if you can really tell, but
Bat
hat. Yeah. So for the people that don't know, this is the bat hat. This is something new that we're trying. Starting this episode 2, we have each written 3 or 4 different topics to talk about. We're going to draw one from a hat, and then hopefully, it will spawn discussion. And if not, we'll move on to the next one. I'm not sure if we're going to do all like 7 or 8 of them. We'll just see how we feel. We'll roll with it. So would you like to do the honors? I guess you're going with that one. Okay.
It rarely calls upon us the moment we're choosing.
What does that say?
I don't know. It's upside down. Robots and AI. I wrote this one.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, of course, everyone ever since Terminator and even before that has been somewhat concerned about the idea of robots taking over as our overlords.
Yeah.
And I agree to an extent, but I agree that we should be worried.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But I mean, when it comes to the idea of AI development, because on that channel, there was I had such an experience with a TV channel called Reels. It was some of the worst television I've had to endure for 2 hours.
He has not stopped talking about this for a while, so that's how I know it's bad.
But one of their little show plugs they did was I think it was forward thinking, like the number 4 and the phrase WD or FWD.
That's so cringeworthy.
I know.
Ugh.
Forward thinking. And had a guy with like a twisty beard, but like it wasn't fully like twisted. It was like, it was just because I wanted just.
Was it about hackers?
No, this one was about
because
how we can make how computers are kind of like it was kind of a simplified explanation of how computers think, and how eventually AI or computers will be running things.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it in such like a calm way, like, at some point in the future we'll have all the computers taking care of all the stuff that we don't have to do, and we'll just sit back in our lazy chairs and enjoy the day. I'm like, okay, first
WALL-E.
off, yeah, that's WALL-E.
That's exactly what happened in WALL-E.
That's not a best case scenario.
No, that's a terrible scenario. Everybody got super fat.
Yeah, and they didn't know how to life, almost literally, and that's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Like, real life would be so much worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask you, Matt,
Okay.
in the advent of pushing forward with new technology and new capabilities, do you think that we should focus on AI stuff right now? Or do you think we should focus on, and this is my personal bias, cybernetic stuff right now? Like making people more robot-like, like engineering like hands, chips and stuff, to enhance the human rather than advance a machine.
Okay. So I'm going to think of an answer, but while I'm thinking, why don't you explain why your bias is towards cybernetics? Like what in your background makes that your bias? While I think of an answer.
Well, aside from that being kind of a passion, my goal right now is to finish up at Cincinnati State with my BMET degree. I'm still taking classes right now. I'm trying to work and save up money to pay for my last semester so I can pay for my coming semester. But I only have 6 classes left. But as an extension of that, I plan on becoming a full biomedical engineer in the years following, and hopefully engineering some type of prosthetics, and I want to work on like the brain computer connection. I want to help people interact with some type of medium for computerized processes, so we can have essentially like a conversion type thing, maybe like digital thoughts. It's a whole thing, but I'm all for the idea of making people better, making them more than what we are now, to kind of like technologically evolve from what we are, like enhance the human experience beyond what it is now. Like I'm talking about, I want to work on a revolution that is like the concept of like a car to a caveman. Like I want to do that type shit.
Okay.
But that's what I'm more biased towards, because AI, there's always that chance, because there's good AI in movies, games. There's the friendly, helpful AI like Ghost from Destiny, or even the AI in the movie AI with David, the little kid. But there's also a lot of bad AI, like Skynet, Ultron, and I feel like if you were to have something like that happen, like a singularity event, where a machine or machines became self-aware, to track their progress of knowledge, would be like, who knows? They might just be savages. They might view us as savages. They might understand. It's just such an odd
It's a weird
air
concept.
step. Yeah, and the thing about humanity is we don't take second dollar. Like, humanity is the GOAT, if you will, greatest of all time. We pretty much dominate every other animal on the planet, and the planet itself as part of nature. It's like our thing. But that also comes with a lot of responsibility. For example, if there's a meteor coming our way, we can't rely on the bird brigade or squirrels to defend us.
Bird brigade.
Right.
Go, my bird people! Defend us from this meteor!
Right.
And they all fly in his face and everything's perfect.
But no, it's on us to save the planet if some shit's going down. So
we've kind of become the top of the food chain.
Yeah. So if there was another thing that we would have to respect and also take care of that was on par with us, let alone the concept that it might be above us. No. The last time something like that happened were Neanderthals, and they're not around anymore because we beat them to death and ate them. That's real.
Welcome
That's what we
to
did.
humanity.
That is humanity.
So while you were talking about that, I made up my mind. So the topic was AI versus cybernetics. I'm gonna go more towards cybernetics. What you said did kind of influence me a little bit. However, my main point with going towards cybernetics rather than AI was not necessarily a benefit of cybernetics, but more of a negative of AI. So, are you familiar with Tay AI?
No.
Does it ring a bell? Okay, so Microsoft made this Twitter bot. This Twitter bot's name was Tay AI. Is it coming back to you now?
No, but it reminded me of Cleverbot.
Similar. So Tay AI was essentially supposed to just crawl through Twitter, read people's tweets, and sort of learn how the human brain worked and responses to stuff, and to see what people were into and
through Twitter.
Through Twitter, through a social media platform. It was
see how that's a bad idea already, but all right.
Yep. So we'll get to that in a second. It was supposed to learn, and it was supposed to become a human-like robot, and it did for a little bit, and then it became the worst type of human-type robot. It became incredibly racist and incredibly sexist and incredibly very aggressive and mean. To the point where people would be Tay AI, how do we fix the world's problems? And Tay would just be we have to kill all of the Jewish people. And it's this is not what it was meant to do, and this is not this is not what a large majority of people think. That's the kind of stuff that it would be. Or people would try and joke, and it would be what do you think of the Holocaust? And Tay AI would just be well, if it was real, then really crappy stuff like that. So I think that if we're making steps towards AI, we've got a lot of steps to go. If we base it off of the human mind, it's going to have inherent limitations. And I think that those limitations will sort of be magnified if AI is based off of the human mind. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm ever in the middle of a sentence, and this is probably going to happen to me right now, but if I'm ever in the middle of a sentence and I start thinking about who I am or what I'm going to say or how I exist within a certain scenario or situation, I start to flub my words. I'm a little surprised I haven't done that already. And I start to get sort of distracted. I get distracted just like that. I'm proving myself right. I get distracted and I sort of lose my train of thought. And so I think that'll be magnified if AI ever takes on a sort of human brain-like function. I think once AI becomes self-aware, once it understands what it is, I don't think that that'll be a sort of eye-opening moment like a lot of movies or books or TV shows portray. I think that'll be more of a hindrance to AI.
Well, actually, see, here's the thing about that. Well, when that moment happens, it's supposed to be that it's surpassing its human limitation. That it's oh, you guys are human, I'm a robot. You can only run so many processes at a time. I don't get math wrong. You might get math wrong. I don't know how, but you might get math wrong. That as a concept is weird, you know?
It is pretty weird. It's really bizarre.
People can get math wrong. It's just a thing that happens. It's acceptable, and I understand it, but the idea, for a machine, that's completely ludicrous. That's almost a joke.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You just reminded me of an interesting thought, or an interesting fact. It's not necessarily related to AI or cybernetics or anything, but one really cool thing that a teacher told me in the past when I was struggling with math, he said, you already know how to do this stuff. like, it's difficult because you're trying to write it down, but you already know how to do it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't. I'm clearly messing up. I'm not doing very good in this class. What do you mean I already know it? And he was like, what do you think happens in your brain when you throw a ball or catch a ball? Your brain is doing those calculations, and your brain is understanding it subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when we actually try and write it out, and when we try and think through it step by step, that's where we get stuck up.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting that you bring up that point. Because that was really like an eye-opener for me. It was like, wow, I can do this. Like, this is actually something that my brain just does subconsciously. I should be able to step through it. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of a tangent.
No,
sorry for knocking you off.
No,
here.
That adds to the point. So something like that. Not to say we can only do one or the other, but like we can do the subroutines. Our body is running normally, naturally. Our beats per minute, all that stuff, all that calculation, math, all that stuff. But as far as like saying it, explaining it, sometimes gets too hard. Yeah. Machine wouldn't have the limitation. Machine can tell you my diagnostics and go on for an hour without stopping, never needing rest, never being tired. In fact, Terminator movies are fucking. They're. I don't get why the Terminators are like people. Like, if I had to build. First off, you ever see After Earth with?
Oh, with Jane Smith.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I heard it was
spoiler alert.
Bad. But
spoiler alert.
I like Jane Smith, and I don't want to ruin his reputation in my eyes because his music's great. But I haven't seen his acting, and I don't want to ruin it.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's just not great. Not his acting. I mean, like the movie. The movie's just not great. But they do have like this monster creature that was follow me on this, genetically engineered by aliens to kill humans. I like the concept, but they also made the alien blind.
What?
Yeah. So, like, the alien... Not the aliens. The alien monster that they made. The alien monster that the aliens made to hunt humans, specifically humans, is blind.
Why?
Fuck if I know. But...
Because they have to have a way that the humans can win.
Yeah. But, like, it detects people by their fear. So if you're afraid of it, or if you're at all have any type of, like, adrenaline fear, it'll find you and hunt you down, kill you.
Interesting.
But it can't physically see you. I don't know why, but that's just the thing.
Weird.
And that's how people beat it, by just not being afraid and killing the shit out of it.
You just have to be courageous.
Pretty much.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
When you and I went to go see Wonder Woman, and we were just like... We were kind of making fun of it at the beginning. Yeah, so this is a spoiler alert from Wonder Woman. I know we've said spoiler alert like 3 or 4 times now, but this is an actual spoiler alert, and it's a newish movie, so we want to, skip ahead a little bit. I'll make like a hand signal or something so that you know. So Wonder Woman, when you and I went to go see it, we were kind of like making fun of it in the beginning. I mean, not because it's a bad movie; it's a good movie. But we were just kind of joking, like, "Oh, at the end, it's gonna be like they win with the power of love and compassion and friendship." And we were totally not thinking that it was gonna do that because we were like, "No, she's a very like forward hero. She's such a feminine icon. They're not gonna mess it up and make it like a love interest movie where like she wins with the power of love." And we were like totally thinking that it wasn't gonna happen like that. And then 2.5 hours later, the guy in the plane flies away and blows up, and she's just like, she gets so sad, and then she realizes that she loved him, and she beats the bad guy by love.
With her power of
love.
Oh,
and we were so like, oh, we were so disappointed. I remember you and I looked at each other in the movie, and we just laughed and tried to hold it together for like the next 15 minutes as the credits were rolling. Oh man.
Jeez.
I should make the hand signal now so people that know that the spoiler alert's over. Yeah. You're good. You can come back. So hopefully people came back. If not, we'll get more people.
But yeah, as far as that alien thing, that makes sense. Making something to kill specifically humans. Making a robot that looks like a human, kind of, and then working hard, mind you, to make a robot that is identical to a human, except that it's a robot, and call it a Terminator, to infiltrate where humans live, instead of making like little nanites to crawl around and like murder people, like in their sleep. Like, why not just do that? Or like go like the Borg and assimilate people. Yeah, as a fucking computer, yeah, you have time. You don't even have to do anything. Just poison their water supplies and wait.
Yeah, and then let it happen.
Yeah. But no, fucking Skynet. So dumb.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna crucify me, but I haven't seen the Terminator movies, so I'm trying to play catch up on this conversation. But
they're definitely good to watch through.
That seems like it seems like a step backwards.
No, it is.
Because I mean, like, you wouldn't make this crazy ultimate death machine aimed at killing one specific thing and then make it look and sound and perform exactly like that thing. Because there are easier ways. Yeah. You don't need the element of surprise when you're that far advanced.
Yeah.
And
and that's the point about the AI. Like, it's when they realize that they don't have to do that dumb shit and be like, oh, yeah, I can just turn myself off and wait. I don't give a shit. I can wait 500 years. You'll die. I'll be around.
And you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. That's actually kind of lightweight, spoiler warning, the plot of AI.
Yeah?
Yeah, the movie was like, dude, it's a great movie.
You gotta start writing these down and showing me that. Well, maybe we'll make that like a segment. Nah, we couldn't make it a segment because copyright rules. Darn. I was thinking maybe we could make it a segment where, like, you show me a movie that everybody thinks is good that I haven't seen, and then, like, we comment on it and we kind of make, you know, a narrative or a commentary on it.
Well, actually, a thing we could do is, and I remember one of my friends, Zach Reinhardt. One of the things we would do is we would watch movies and comment on them together.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of, like, Mystery something theater.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater.
One of the things that we were thinking about doing was, like, recording our audio while watching a movie, and then releasing that audio on online or so.
Oh.
That way you can link it up with the movie, so you
can
watch the movie and hear our commentary.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I know, like, Rooster Teeth does that. Rooster Teeth has what's it called? I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they do essentially that. They buy the rights for these, like, cheap indie movies, and then they overlay, like, a picture of themselves on the bottom of the screen, and they do commentary. I mean, we don't have the budget or the means to license any movies or anything, but it would be kind of cool to do that. Well, something I'll have to write down and keep in the back of my mind. Cool. You want to move on to another hat topic?
Sure.
All right. Bringing back the bat hat. Bringing back the bat hat. You want to draw since you kind of got shafted last time?
Today's topic is color confusion.
Color confusion. So you didn't write this one.
I did not.
You don't know. You don't really know what this is, do you?
Not really.
No.
I'm a little confused.
We did it. We're done. Next time. So, color confusion. This was inspired by a post I saw on Reddit, either today or yesterday or whatever. This isn't the exact question, but it's similar. If you had the ability to change any one color to another color permanently, and it would take into effect for present, future, and past, what would you change to cause the most confusion? And I mean, like, change the color blue so that it's red, so that anything that previously was blue is now red. What would you do to cause the most confusion?
The most?
The most confusion.
Black and white.
Ah, I was thinking that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Change black to white.
That'd be the most confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would be super confusing because then, like, anybody who was used to sleeping in the dark now can no longer sleep in the dark.
All of space.
Yeah, oh my god.
The stars are black.
I'm now just imagining, like, the world flipped in negative. Like, as if you put, like, a filter on a camera and it's just, everything flips and people are freaking out because no one knows how to, like, perceive it. So, without thinking of black or white, since you already took that one, I would flip the colors of blue and red.
Yeah.
Just because it's, like...
Bleeding blue.
Yeah, bleeding blue, or looking at the ocean and it's blood red, or, like, the sky and it's red. Or, like, my car and it's red. Yeah, it turns blue. That'd be cool. I kind of want that to happen now. I want to see, like, a blue sunset.
Well, the way that would happen would be, like, the star, or wherever you would be at a position where the sun, either the planet's not rotating fast enough around the sun, but it'd be, like, always at that sunset angle, and then before it passes into, like, how do I describe that? Because you know how the Earth kind of sits at a tilt?
Yeah.
Like, all of it kind of revolves around the sun?
Yeah.
It would have to be something where, as it moves around the sun, it doesn't rotate fast enough. So you get, like, months or years of sunset, and it eventually slowly turns, like, blue to black, and then back to sunset or morning. And it never goes, like,
fast enough to where we have, like, a day. I see. Interesting. So this, I mean, that obviously doesn't happen in, you know, our world today, but something kind of crazy or different for us that does happen. You know how Alaska has, like, months, or it has like a night for months.
Dude.
It's just like a 3-month long
Dude,
night,
don't even.
and then like a 3-month long day. I can't even imagine that.
The scariest vampire movie I've ever seen, 30 Days of Night. It's too real, too intense, way too much.
Real for you.
Yeah,
For you.
like, vampires are like, hey, let's go up to Alaska. I heard it's 30 days of just night. Yeah, sounds good. And they just
Sounds
they
like a
wreck
plan for us.
that entire town.
Oh man.
I mean, like, it's like, you know how people hide in attics when they're afraid?
Yeah.
They had groups of people hiding in attics, and they would, like, have a person walk out. Like, the vampires would get a person, have them walk out in the main street,
Mhm.
have them scream for help, and slowly tear them apart, hoping to hear other
Jesus
people who are
Christ.
seeing it and, like, freak out or cry or make a noise so they can go hunt down those other people. And there's one guy...
I'm not watching that movie. You
Dude.
can't make me.
I mean,
You
women,
can't make
children,
me.
everyone was getting it. And at one point, there was like a scene where a guy and his father has some type of like old man mental disease thing,
Okay.
like Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And at one point, he was like, "What? What are you guys doing in my house?" And they're like, "Shh, don't tell me no."
Oh no.
Get off me! Where's
Does
Martha?
the vampire find him?
Where's Martha?
Martha. Batman and Superman both come in and they stop fighting because of a name.
But what's it? So he at one point they do get him to quiet down, and then he like just gets up and goes downstairs, and I can't remember what he was doing, but like making a sandwich type shit.
Okay.
And his son wakes up, and is like, "Oh God!" And he goes to try to find his dad, and you know, of course, he starts freaking out because the door's open, and he's like, "Dad!" And like, "No, shut the fuck up!" He's like, "Get off me!" And he like pushes the person and goes outside to look for his dad. And he's looking for his dad,
Rip.
looking for him. And
Rip.
he can't find his dad, and then a vampire finds him. Rip.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
that's scary.
And
I can't do that.
As far as that Martha thing, as I covered earlier, totally justified.
Yeah.
If,
Say your argument. I'm just gonna drink my Lipton, my tea.
Look, the Martha thing wasn't bad. The only thing that made it not so great was the fact that Batman murdered people wholesale the entire like movie. Like,
Wholesale.
did he? Yeah, like did
Not
he?
like not clearance.
No, but they were going so
Missed
fast.
that
They,
joke.
they were going so fast. They might as well have been.
Hey.
A Super Saiyan bargain sale. Like, just, I mean, not saying like he was just shooting them in the chest. No, he wasn't Thomas Wayneing it. But like, he attached a hook to a car, and then carried and dragged that car until it exploded. Like he didn't.
But they're
waste
fine.
Oh yeah.
I think they're fine.
And then of course, by the time he got into the warehouse, he was just capping people to death. Like he threw a crate
No,
over
they
that
were
space.
rubber bullets.
Yeah, like if Batman in the entire movie was not about killing at all, like not even a little bit, like he would always go to that edge but never cross it, and then he made it his choice to kill Superman, this deity-like person, this demigod of strength, because he might represent a threat to the Earth, and then in their final confrontation, saw him when he said his dead mother's name. In like a way, he looks at him as a man for the first time, and like he's like hurt, fragile. And he realizes like all this stuff that he's not like trying to fight him. He's not trying to hurt him for real. He's just trying to talk to him. And it finally gets through to him. And of course with this little girl coming up next to him saying, "Oh, that's his mom's name. She's been kidnapped."
This
Something,
little
something.
girl.
She's like
She
tiny.
was like 25.
No, not little as in like age, like tiny.
Okay, yeah, little and fragile.
Yeah,
What you're saying, yeah.
And compared to Batman and Superman.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm tiny compared to Batman.
We're all tiny compared to Batman.
That's a very true assessment. I need to
But,
work out more.
But yeah, and would humanize his character, or well, humanize that perspective of his character. It would make sense. It would make more sense. But no, in the movie he actually did just murder people like left and right. So, of course, that's the part that's a little bit cheese. But I get why it was there. So it's not that bad. It's no better than Civil War.
No one died in Civil War, except for Tony's parents. Spoiler alert, sorry, we should have said. So, speaking of Civil War, I watched Spider-Man Homecoming again last night,
Ooh.
actually. It was good, the third time around. One of my all-time favorite scenes in that movie, and this is an actual spoiler if you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, like, seriously don't listen to this because you're ruining perhaps one of the best parts of the movie. Well, once again, I'll make our crazy hand signal when we're done. Best part in the movie, Peter is taking Liz to Homecoming, And he goes to the house, and Aunt May is with him in the car, and she's just like coaching him through it. And he's like, okay. And then when I dance, I put my hand on her hips, and she's like, go get him. Like, you're great. You got this. And he walks up to the door, and he rings the doorbell, and the music is playing, and it's not like tense music. It's just like it's upbeat music. Like it's like not really party music, but just good music. And then it opens the door, and you're expecting Liz, and it's Michael Keaton's character, and it's like the antagonist of the film. That was such a train, like, hitting me in the theater when you and I saw it together. That was such, like you can almost feel it, like the weight of the situation. You're just like, what's gonna happen?
And you know what I felt compounded that is, you know, because whenever we go to the movies, especially when we're seeing them like the same day, you know what I mean? Like,
the day that they come out.
Yeah. I always think about what I'm seeing in the movies. Like, I wouldn't say I'm that harsh of a movie critic, but I don't take no nonsense.
Okay. Yeah.
If you will, from like certain things in movies. Like, I don't appreciate certain.
You don't like cliches. Is that what you're trying to say?
And in the first scene where they had like the party, her party, it's like the cliche kind of like big house, rich kid party. And I think Aunt May made like a reference like, oh wow, yeah, I used to go to a lot of these when I was young or something like that. I'm like, okay, first off, no one went to like a house like that. That's not a normal house party. The reason it's not a normal house, it's an expensive house, and the reason that is because the Michael Keaton's character
money from not drugs, from weapon trades.
Yeah. That the way they tied that together was fucking beautiful. Like that was
because you're right. I mean, like an expensive house, that is such a small detail. That is a cliche that happens in like, you know, modern movies, like Teen Party in a really rich expensive house. They never explain like what do the parents do where they can afford that house. Why are the parents gone?
Yes.
But in Homecoming, or Spider-Man Homecoming, they kind of explain it. It's like he has all this money because of the weapons trade, and he's gone. They never said what the wife was, but he's gone because he's selling weapons. Like that's what he's doing in his night job. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. That was a really cool part of the movie.
Yeah, I was not expecting it at all.
That, and at the end where like after everything's done and Peter like says no to being Avenger and everything, and he comes back and Tony gives him the suit. He puts the suit on, and then he's like takes the mask off, and Aunt May is behind him, and she's like, what the and then it cuts to credits. That was so funny, and it was a really good reveal and sets up, I guess, Homecoming 2 or Infinity War or whatever.
Homecoming 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Homecoming 2, Homecoming 3, World, the trilogy. So let's do one more hat, and then we'll move on to our next segment that we got queued up on the TV here. All right, I will draw this time. Bam. Anvil in history. If you, Brandon, could instantly teleport an anvil anywhere in history, where would you do it? And how would it affect history?
I would teleport it 5 minutes before you ask me that question.
Where would you teleport it, though?
Like, over there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Would that make a paradox then? Because then would I then no longer ask you the question?
Well, that's the thing. If I did it that directly affected the history that I'm in, and yet it still happened, that could mean they were on a time loop, and that the original version of ourselves.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Because if that happened, right? And we didn't experience that right now, right? So for all intents and purposes, that isn't a thing. But if, hypothetically speaking, you asked me that, and you're like, oh, boom, now you have the power. And I did that, and it happened in that other separate timeline, that means that our original timeline goes off doing our own thing. But then we have all these subroutine timelines doing all this different, like, anvil appear, anvil appear, anvil appear, anvil appear, and it just never stops.
Well, now you're getting super deep into, like, infinite universe theory, which is something that I kind of agree with. Ooh. Something that I kind of think is a possibility. No way we can prove it, but...
Fun thought about that. Due to that, in infinite universe thing, there's a universe in which all of your favorite music is better. And you can never listen to it.
Why? Why would you do this to me?
It's just an entire world where every one of the songs that you like, even some of the songs that you don't like, are flipping amazing.
I don't. You shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have told me that. You damned me to this existence now. Like I never thought about that, but like there's a universe where me and Frank Ocean are like best friends.
Yeah.
I want to be there. Take me there.
I want to take you there.
Now. Which means that it... Oh, man. I was thinking like...
In one universe it happened.
In one universe it happened. Or, when I would have said now, that means that we haven't invented time travel yet. Because I didn't go back in time and make myself friends with Frank Ocean.
I mean, hey, there you go.
Maybe you're Frank Ocean. Are you Frank Ocean?
I don't think so.
Can you sing?
I can swim, kind
of. Okay, if I could teleport an anvil anywhere in history, I would teleport an anvil
onto the spaceship Challenger and their final moments just to question everything. What?
No, I wouldn't do that. That's pretty gruesome.
Dark.
I was thinking I would teleport it 2 feet in front of the guy that makes the first anvil the second before he finishes it. Just to completely mess with him. Like, he's making this anvil. Or I guess back then it would be like, I don't know, some big rock or something. Really big flat rock. And then just like a better version of it appears in front of him that he didn't make. It's like, what? Can you imagine if we're recording this and then all of a sudden there's just a better podcast that just pops in? That's not going to happen because there is no better podcast than this. We're going to have to freeze frame that and make that like a thumbnail. Oh. Alright. Anything else you want to talk about in regards to this topic, or should we move on to what we have queued up?
What do people use anvils for now?
Now? I mean, I know there still is blacksmithing. Like, that's a thing still. People use it for blacksmithing. I'm imagining people use it, or a form of it, in machinery when they make, like, car parts, or when they make, you know, like, industrial materials.
You know you're not supposed to hammer, like, a sword? It's not a thing. You're not supposed to, like, do that.
Really?
Shatter it, yeah. Like, it makes it really fucking brittle. You're not supposed
Really?
to...
How do you make it, then?
That's a good that's a good question. I'm not a sword maker.
Okay. Well, maybe by next episode you will be. You have 2 weeks. Okay, so let's move on. Would you like to describe what this next segment is while I get it all pulled up?
Oh, well, one of the things that we did the last time was kind of go on to Bing and try to find some like news, just general random news from Bing.
It's current events.
Yeah, and so we're gonna read off some topics that are interesting. I recommend going to Google Chrome.
Google Chrome. Okay, I will do that because, as we know, Chrome is better than Edge, and now we will never be sponsored by Microsoft.
But we do appreciate their computers and Xbox and almost everything else that they do.
I think we have to suck up to Chrome because we're putting this on YouTube, and Google owns both Chrome and YouTube.
Yeah, there you go.
We love Google. Pay us money. Why isn't Chrome? Oh, it's on the other screen. Whatever, we'll just use...
What do you mean? What other screen?
Alright, is this duplicated to your display?
Yeah.
Is
it's all
it?
the same.
It's not pulling up.
Exit out of Edge.
Oh, you think it's behind? It's being sneaky. It's hiding from us. Oh, that's not Google Chrome.
I see what's happening.
What is happening?
It's opening.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, you see how next to it is a little...
Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Technical difficulties.
One more.
One more?
So you see how it has like a thing next to it?
Yeah, the face.
Yeah. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, slowly okay, so we have made it in Google right now. We're on Bing, so let's click on the news button.
Well, actually, instead of doing that, if you notice there just X out.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Okay.
No, I didn't mean to click install. I'm sorry.
End it now. It's fine.
All right, whatever. We'll deal with this after. All Are we just scrolling down? What are we doing?
Well, if you can you make it like full screen?
Yes. Make it full screen.
All right, then just choose any one of those. You just click on any one, and then it'll have it at the top. Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So let's start with swelling battery issue. Have you ever had a device where the battery has swollen?
Yes, twice.
Really?
Yeah, my old BlackBerry.
Huh.
That's its
How
main
big
problem.
did it like swell?
Not by much,
No.
but like a little bit. It was noticeable, like kind of a puff.
Interesting. So at my work, one of my coworkers had this computer. Notice how I say had. He had this laptop where here you fix it. I don't know what he did. He had this laptop and he had it like in his overhead compartment, and it had been off for so long. It had been off for probably like a good 2 or 3 years, and he turned it on so he could reinstall the OS so that we could like use it for something.
Yeah.
Reinstalled the OS, got it all set up, closed the lid so it went to sleep, went away for the weekend. Came back in the morning and the battery was like super swollen. It was a MacBook and it was sticking out of the bottom. It was this huge swollen battery that's still in our office to this day. And it kind of scares me. I'm afraid it's gonna like explode someday.
It might.
And I don't want to be there when that happens.
But what if this is the universe in which where that happens, you gain phenomenal cosmic powers?
Then I do want to be there when that happens.
Tiny living space.
But something about knowing my luck that wouldn't happen.
Oh,
Who knows?
actually, there's a Marvel thing, a comic series that's more dark. It's like all that stuff like that makes them like superheroes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like realistically, like when the Hulk gets exposed, when Bruce Banner gets exposed to all this gamma radiation, and he hulks out for the first time. Well, no, he hulks out for the first time. And his body doesn't like just hold together, so like it grows in some places, and he dies instantly.
Oh my god!
But like he has like an enlarged arm, a torn torso. Spider-Man gets like turned into like spider and like dies or something like that. It's pretty dark.
So it's like if they took all of the fun out of comic books and just made it violent.
Yeah.
Do you see anything on there you want to talk about? I see one that I wouldn't mind talking about.
What, the Mars?
Mars methane theory. I don't know what this theory is.
Hey, look, I don't think you should be doing meth on Mars. I just think stick to Earth.
No, yeah, don't go. There's so many easier places to do meth than Mars. Just hit up your local Walmart restroom. You can do meth in there. You can probably cook meth in there because I don't think they ever clean. As long as you live in any rural state, you can probably cook meth in a Walmart. You don't have to go to Mars.
Leave Mars out of it.
Leave Mars alone. Let's see. Cop sues Blake, NYPD. Who do you think that Blake is? Blake Shelton?
I don't know.
Blake Maislin?
4 Call Blake Maislin. Yeah.
Oh man, skydiving accident. Would you ever go skydiving?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would too.
Maybe like once, maybe twice, but I'd rather like not. Because I mean, it's.
So you're saying is you don't want to go skydiving?
I don't want to, but like I would. I wouldn't mind going.
Okay.
Because like, it's Rush. It's super cool. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's essentially just falling.
Yeah, but I mean, you're falling at a height that you've never been to before. You've never fallen from before.
Oh.
I mean, it's like
gliding is cool. Hang
Okay.
gliding, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That little squirrel fucking activity,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool, definitely. But cool. Falling. It's like bowling for aerial acrobatics.
I mean, kind of, I guess. I see what you're saying. It is just falling. I mean, when you think about it, at the bare bones, it is just falling. However, I mean, you're falling towards, like, impending doom. If you don't pull your parachute, you're gonna die. Like, that's it. You're gonna die. I don't think there's hardly any way you could live on something like that. And I think that's where a lot of the rush comes from. Also, I mean, you likely feel weightless when you're skydiving, which is, I think, an experience that not many people get often. So they sort of become thrill seekers to try and find that. Skydiving is a way to sort of get that. I would totally go skydiving, but it's expensive, which sucks.
If I went skydiving, I'd have to get a skateboard or like a.
You'd want to like a tech. You
Yeah.
get a tech.
No, like a what's it called, snowboard.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Would you try and like land so you were snowboarding down a mountain? Like pull your chute and then like make it so that you could like snowboard down a mountain when you land?
Not a mountain, more like just kind of slide in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's gotta seem fun.
Obesity-related cancer. Leader to play Hefner. He's getting a movie.
Wait, what? He's getting a movie?
Oh, apparently Hugh Hefner, the late Hugh Hefner, is getting a movie.
Let's see.
And the
Jared
Joker.
Leto to star as Hugh Hefner in biopic.
I think you mean the Joker.
Biopic. I'm not saying that word right. Joker. I didn't like that rendition of the Joker.
I know.
I wasn't a fan.
Like, and I for example, Lex Luthor. I understood. I kind of dug that Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it was different.
This Joker.
It was good different.
This Joker, jeez. As much as I would appreciate seeing more of him in the movie, at the same time, I'm kind of okay I didn't see any more of him in the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely like, it was sort of, and I know, like, I'm not the first to say this, and I totally understand that I got this from, like, things that I read on the internet, but it was almost like a Hot Topic Joker.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm edgy Joker, rather than, like, I'm actually insane.
Hey, Tom
Joker.
Petty died.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What? Oh man, weren't we just talking about him earlier? Well, we were talking about Tom Petty in some capacity at B-Dubs.
No, that was Eric Clapton.
Oh, Eric Clapton.
But there was
yeah.
a post on Facebook saying, like, can't we all just be chill? Like, because everyone loves Tom Petty and, like, tacos. Let's just be chill.
There are people out there that don't like tacos. I think my girlfriend's one of them. Yeah, I know. She does weird things. And I'll leave it at that. I'm kidding. She's great. She's really cool. She has a couple quirks that are a lot different from other people. She doesn't really like meat that much, which is kind of weird. I mean, she's not a vegetarian. She does eat meat. She just doesn't like it very much. She doesn't like hamburgers and stuff, and she's one of the very few people I know that does not like hamburgers. She loves chicken. Chicken's great. I mean, everybody loves chicken. And if you don't, you're not American. That's not true. You can still be American if you don't like chicken. It says that in our Constitution, actually. It's like Amendment 516. You can still be American if you don't like chicken.
As long as you have a work visa.
Are you reading more about Tom Petty?
Yeah, apparently he died of cardiac arrest.
Oh, man.
In his home.
That's sad.
That's America for you.
Sonic weapon attack. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Like that kind of Sonic.
You're too slow.
All the craziest parts of the insane Cuba Sonic Attack mystery.
No, it's in quotes. So you have to say Sonic Attack!
Sonic Attack. Sonic Attack mystery in Knuckles.
Sonic, I choose you. Sonic Attack 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That was one of my favorite like memes that have come out in like the last 5 years. This like in Knuckles. Like, have you seen all the memes that are just like featuring Dante from Devil May Cry and Knuckles, Wii Sports Resort, Nintendo certified? It's like just that whole like adding addendums onto the end of video game names. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
What? Look how this starts. But if Cuba isn't behind the attacks, then who is?
Because Cuba's definitely the only person that's our enemy right now. You know, North Korea doesn't exist. Russia doesn't exist. Cuba is the only possible enemy that would want to attack us with sound. Also, what does that mean? Are they just like screaming at us?
Sound. Yeah, I think we have a pretty clear candidate of who caused this attack. Little blue hedgehog. Maybe Robotnik was right. Maybe he's just a terrorist. Maybe Sonic's a terrorist.
Eggman was right.
All along.
Eggman for president 2020.
He already won.
Oh man, we just lost viewers.
Huge. Alright. And what was the other side? The Onion?
Oh yeah, The Onion. So we're gonna pull up the Onion articles and read through them. And there's actually There's a pretty funny subreddit. I don't remember what the subreddit is, but basically you go and you just read a headline and you have to guess whether it's like from The Onion or like a real website.
All right, Matt. This is your.
All right, let's see. John Cena gets Argyle wool singlet out from cedar chest in preparation for Autumn Slam.
You got a jam.
Jim Jam, the Slim Slam.
If you want to slam.
Oh man, I clicked on an article and now I can't go back. What have I done?
America.
NFL urine tankers arrive at league's drug testing facility. That's funny. Trump boys chasing wounded boar around White House.
They really shouldn't talk about insert lady's name here that way. I couldn't think fastly enough of large. Yeah, I couldn't think fastly enough of like a large woman that no one views highly of.
Oh, I see.
Lisa Lampanelli. Lisa Lampanelli. There you go.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You shouldn't talk about Lisa Lampanelli that way.
Little Caesars marketing new marshmallows and gravy pizza directly to President. I love The Onion. It's so good. And it almost makes me wish that this were real news rather than, like, the actual stuff. It's kind of weird. Man, pretty sure he could run this company into ground way better than boss. That's me.
Oh, wait.
I'm kidding.
Jury passionless couple believes your soulmate out there too. And then offering reassurance that it would all work out in the end like it did for them. Jury
yeah.
passionless couple, Evan and Jennifer. Actually, I probably shouldn't read through. Then again,
they're not real. I mean, it's a made-up name.
Yeah. Well, confirmed on Tuesday that your soulmate was definitely out there somewhere.
But there are plenty of fish in the sea. Joke's on them. I don't like fish. I don't identify as a fish. Oh, man. I had something I was going to say, and then I completely forgot it. Whatever.
Does it have anything to do with John Cena's Argyle wool singlet?
No, but now I wish it was about John Cena's Argyle wool singlet. So I like that there's a picture of romance, and it's two people, like, obviously on a date in front of a carousel, and underneath it says sponsored by Ace Hardware. How to keep the spark in your relationship. All right, so now this section of the podcast is we'd like to call it Matt and Randon's totally super real relationship advice.
Oh.
How to keep a spark in your relationship. Switch to AAA baseball games for better odds of appearing on the kiss cam. Hey, that works. If you go to Little League teams, you're just going to be making out in the crowd. You're not going to be on the kiss cam. Probably because there is no kiss cam. Plan a romantic weekend getaway to a Civil War battlefield you haven't tried before, rather than one of the old standbys.
Oh.
I feel like that could be a really bad experience if you're any nationality other than white. Because it's like, look at this place where my ancestors were like murdered and taken advantage of.
Don't be afraid to get sentimental. Renew your vows in the same courtroom where you met.
That brings up an interesting thought. I read this thing on Reddit today. It was like, people who've gotten married, what are your biggest regrets?
Oh, shit.
And like, it wasn't people that were just like, I regret ever getting married. It was like, one of the ones that stuck out to me was this guy basically said that he and his fiance, or now wife, had planned to make this like really elaborate wedding. Like, they planned to spend a bunch of money on it, and they did it, and they went through the plans, and then like the weekend before they went to their wedding, they got super drunk and went to Vegas and like accidentally got married the weekend before they were supposed to. And he said that that was more sentimental than his actual wedding was.
Yeah.
Which just proves that, this is totally me going on a rant, but it just proves that weddings are all as you perceive them. Like, it's not like you don't have to spend a bunch of money to have a good wedding. It's all just, it's you having fun, you know? Which I think is something that you need to understand with your partner. You should get married too.
And the reason I said, oh shit, is because remember how this was sponsored by Ace Hardware?
Yep.
Need more romance in your life? Fall in love with the extra mile promise at an Ace Hardware near you.
The Ace Hardware at my house is great. Like, I'm not plugging Ace Hardware. I'm really not. So one of the cool things about the Ace Hardware down by my place is that You can have your packages delivered to Ace Hardware. So if you don't want them to like sit on your doorstop, or if you don't want them to be somewhere where they can get stolen, stop. In the name of love. You can have your packages delivered to Ace Hardware, where they'll just keep them and you come pick them up within like 3 or 4 days. That's like a really cool business practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
74 normal photos and 2 kind of weird ones.
Oh, I've seen this before. This is going to take so long and it wouldn't go across in the podcast, but it's pretty funny. It's just like a bunch of crazy photos and then like 2 of them are like close-ups of animals. Like ears of an animal, like an ear of an animal where you don't know. It's just a weird picture. And like after all the pictures, it's just like normal, and then it gets to the weird one and it's just like weird. Like it's a picture of an eagle and normal one. The next one is probably going to be a normal picture, and we won't go through all these because it would take far too long. A tennis ball, normal. You know, people riding a bike, a normal one. Yeah. But eventually it just gets to like a really weird photo and it says weird. Exactly what you'd expect. Are you excited for the new Star Wars movie?
Yes.
Why?
Because I want to see more of this story continue. Like with the whole Rey thing. Like, I actually am legitimately confused as to who's Snooky. Like
it's actually Snooky. She's back from Jersey Shore.
It's a Jersey thing. But yeah, I definitely want to see. I want to see it wrapped up because, okay, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Star Wars is concerned, the idea of achieving balance, I think, was first held by the original Jedi or Jedi. It's written differently and pronounced weird, but they were essentially a group of people on this planet that gets worked with, studied, and practiced in the living force. And if you felt like too strongly towards the light, they had a planet they would send you to get better and come back. If you felt too strongly towards the dark, they had a planet they'd send you to come back. Over time, something happened where there was a schism, and they're like, hey, we don't like this. We think that side should be destroyed. Well, we think that side should be destroyed. You guys suck. You guys suck. And they've been fighting ever since.
Okay.
And the concept that for a Sith, there has to be a Jedi. For a Jedi, there has to be a Sith. You can't have all light. You can't have all dark. Like Luke said, and God can't be all good and all powerful. Can't be all powerful and all good. So, to have balance with the Force, instead of having just the 2 dynamic extremes on either end all the time, to have them in the middle as that neutral. You can't be a true Jedi, but you also can't be a true Sith. You just have to follow the living Force.
So do you think that's what Luke is going to try and teach Rey? Is that you have to walk in between both of them? Rather than go completely towards one or towards the other, you have to sort of walk that middle line?
I think Luke is going to give up on the Jedi way.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's going to he's going to be the last Jedi or something. And Rey is going to be the one to walk that gray area.
Okay. Interesting. Have they given a title to the next one? To 9? Episode 9?
Yeah, I think it's The Last Jedi.
No, that's 8.
Oh!
Yeah, 8's The Last Jedi. Like, the one after this one that's coming in, like, 2 months.
No.
No, not yet.
2 months.
December.
Oh, yeah.
It's October. Get spooky.
Yeah, get spooky in here. Shit on the floor.
I don't know what song that's from, but I want to learn.
Get Swifty.
Oh, was it from Get Swifty?
Rick and Morty.
We should watch that.
Speaking of which, season 3 of Rick and Morty just finished, guys.
It's
good. It's pretty great. Yeah.
Although I will say I was a little disappointed at the lack of Birdman. Birdman was not in any of it, at all.
It's Bird Person.
No, that's true. Bird Person. You're right. I'm sorry to pull a Tammy on you guys. But I was a little upset at the lack of Bird Person.
Yeah.
I expected him to come back, and I expected there to be more.
Yeah.
But whatever. We only got season 4.
Yeah, maybe next season.
Mm-hmm.
Loving the evil Morty stuff. I like that he's in charge of the Citadel of Ricks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez, Rick. Oh, jeez, Rick.
Did you like the subtle nuance of the toxic episode where they detoxify themselves and Morty gets all his confidence?
I honestly wasn't a huge fan of that episode.
Dude, why?
I wasn't a huge fan just because. So, I've grown to love Rick and Morty and the characters in Rick and Morty of Rick being this incredibly smart asshole who is just very mean, comically mean, but you can deep down tell he kind of cares. And Morty being this super sort of timid, like stuttering, like sort of like an idiot almost. And he's a dork. He's made to be that way. It's purposeful. But that episode flipped it completely, like 180 degrees. And I get that that was what they were going for. Is like, well, they got it because like Rick became essentially what Morty was, of this like bumbling sort of like sort of passive person rather than like a person who takes charge and a person who like controls the situation. He became someone who was just complacent, and Morty became like a jerk. Right? Or am I remembering that wrong?
Well, I agree. But I would say slightly different. Like, in the sense that Morty... Because remember, he reviewed and said that, it was what they viewed themselves as toxic. Like, not what was toxic for Rick. Or, no, what was toxic for Rick and what was toxic for Morty. For Morty, it was his lack of confidence. And for Rick, it was his, like, love for Morty and stuff like that. So, Rick took out of him all of his, like, I guess, feelings for things. And just kind of let life go on, kind of lead him through it. And Morty took out, like, his, anything that was holding him back from attaining his dreams. And the reason I was saying, like, when I pointed out that episode was kind of interesting to me was because at the end of it, because remember, Rick fused back together with himself.
Right.
It was Rick, Morty didn't.
Right.
He went, achieved his dreams, was in love, or at least with this apparently attractive, like, older lady, and Liz was there trying to get back with him, and she's like, "You left the phone on." Yeah, apparently I did. Because he wanted to go back to it.
Aww.
Like, even though he was, like, doing well by himself, he went back to it.
Show's so deep.
So many levels.
So, we are at about an hour, probably a little bit over an hour. You wanna do a couple rounds of Two Truths and a Lie and then wrap it up?
Sure.
Right, cool. You wanna go first or you want me to?
You go first.
Me go first? So you want me to do the Two Truths and a Lie?
Yeah.
Okay. Two Truths and a Lie. I gotta think about this. I should have had it prepared, but I didn't. Two Truths and a Lie. God, you know me so well. Like, yeah, it makes it difficult because you know me so well. Okay, I've never been out of the country. I have had my skin change color. I have never... What to say that? I've never owned a Sega console. Which one do you think is a lie?
The last one.
You think so? Well, you're right. I mean, that was stupid. I was prepared.
All right.
Okay, I feel like you should be ready. You had time to think. Well, I was thinking.
I mean, to be fair, I was trying to think of which one was the truth and
That's true. That's true. I'm surprised you haven't asked about the whole skin changing color thing.
I just assumed it was like a weird, like, either sun related thing or.
I've never had a son before.
No. No, I meant like sky.
No, when I was a kid, apparently I ate like a bunch of carrots, which made my skin turn orange. Because I guess that's the thing when you're a baby. Like, you eat a bunch of carrots, your skin can just turn orange and then change back.
You are what you eat.
For that day, I was an orange.
Hashtag Soylent Green.
Alright, Two Truths and a Lie. You go.
Alright, so I'm going to tell you all three of these as if they were the truth.
Okay. And I just realized that I did my Two Truths and a Lie, and I just said the two truths first and then the lie, so it was pretty easy.
Also, you have to think really hard on the last.
I'm really bad at this. I'm not the greatest.
I am the greatest. What song is that from?
I don't know, but probably like a plethora of different rap songs.
Perfect.
My girl in a bandana. I've got Black Beatles stuck in my head. It's on repeat.
Alright, so
the gas for whatever reason.
I was driving once and I saw a deer jumping out into the road, and I tried to swerve to like not hit the deer, and in doing so, I went slightly into a ditch, popped up, got back onto the road,
Okay.
and received a flat tire.
Okay.
Another story. One time I was down in Clifton, and there was a really attractive girl.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we started talking,
Oh.
and we exchanged phone numbers.
Yeah.
And then the next day when I tried to call, wrong number.
Ouch.
And then another one. On the same road with that deer, I was driving, and instead of it being like a deer coming at me or something, it was another car whipping around the turn.
Okay.
And I had just enough time to stop before, like, it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and it swerved past me, flipped me off, and I kept going.
Wait, the dude just was like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I was offended. As if it was my fault.
Okay.
Alright, so which of those three things, two of them happened, one of them didn't?
I think it was the last one. That didn't happen.
No.
Really? Was it the deer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've only had like 3 flat tires total.
Huh, how'd you get this most recent one? Because I know your tire is flat right now, which is why you have a rental car. Now tell me the story about why your car tire is flat right now.
Oh, in that case, I was driving toward my second job at Dr. One Psychiatric Services. Because, guys, if you're addicted to drugs, seek help.
Mm-hmm. It's never a bad thing to ask for help.
Except, like, maybe during a test.
Yeah, don't cheat.
I mean, if you're gonna cheat, don't get caught. But, like, don't ask for help during the test. Like, hey, John. Yeah? What'd you put for 3? Bruh.
And the teacher's just like, I can hear you both. So tell me the story of how your tire went flat.
So I was heading up to my job. It's in the Eastgate.
Uh-huh.
And as I was going, there was a car in front of me. We're in the speeding lane, and I don't speed. I do drive quick, sometimes, but we're in the speeding lane, and I noticed the car in front of me just do a really dick swerve.
Okay. Like into your lane?
No, into the what's it called? The shoulder.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
Like really hard. Now, I'm gonna give you the play-by-play as I was thinking this. I see that happen, and I'm expecting there should be like some type of crazy shit in the road.
Huh.
And I look, as he moves, he goes back. Nothing. There's nothing there. I'm like, why did you do that?
He was drunk.
Were you fucking up? And then as we're getting closer, I see, there's a weird box in the road. Not like a big box, like a little cube.
Okay.
Like a little like rectangular thing. I'm like, is that a broom handle? And at this point, I'm like, it's too late. I need to avoid this. Even if it's a broom handle, I don't want to run over it.
Right, because it'll damage your car.
So I turn the car, but it's still just too late.
Oh, no.
It was just light enough, or whatever enough, to where it was right in like the, not middle of the road, but like enough in the road to where I would have to like do what he did to avoid it. And it was already too late for me.
Ooh, so you hit it?
Yeah. And
Ouch.
And it popped the car up, went back down, and I thought, maybe it's not that bad. Then I heard the plop, plop, plop.
Oh no! And you just knew it was over?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Apparently that bent my rim.
That's the worst. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, it gets
Car
better.
troubles are the worst.
It gets better. So since I was on my way to work, like that took time.
Oh, so did you have to like go in late to work?
Like,
Was your boss cool with it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
but I pulled way off to the side of the road since it was on this side of the car, on the front, right side of the car.
Yeah.
There's just speeding traffic going by me, so I'm like really far off into the shoulder, and half the car is like kind of in the grass a little bit, the other half's on the concrete. Not entirely like 1v1, but like it's touching the grass. Is my point. And so I'm jacking up the car, and instead of it just going up normal on a level field, it's like kind of just tilting rather than going up.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, because if it's just on the concrete, it'll just tilt up.
Yeah.
But since it's in the grass, it's kind of...
That's not good.
So I have to like crank it all the way to the max to get the tire just up enough to put the spare. And to put the spare on, I had to take out everything. And I carry almost everything in my trunk. Tent stuff, volleyball stuff.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
As we learned, he's prepared for the zombie apocalypse. As long as you have a skill, you'll get into his community. And if not, he'll move you to a better one.
Yeah, everyone has something they can contribute, even if it's their life. But I had to clean all that stuff out, crank up the thing, only to find out that I didn't put it close enough, because that's when I realized that it was only tilting it, not lifting it. I had to re-crank it down, move it closer, crank it all the way back up again, put the tire on, crank it down, tighten the thing, put everything back into my trunk, limp to my work, after being like outside, tired and kind of sweaty, and greased hands. And then eventually drive back home, and then take it into the shop the next day, where I still am waiting for my tire to come in.
Randon's horrible, terrible, no good, rotten day. That's what I heard.
That's the title of the book.
Yeah, I completely flubbed the title. I know that. It's like Alexander the Terrible's worst, horrible, no good day, or something like that. Anyways, okay. Moving on to the next round. We'll do, I guess, one more round each, and then we'll close out.
Oh, alright, sure.
Okay. 2 truths and a lie. I have been within arm distance of a deer in the wild before.
Okay.
I have been on a movie set before.
Okay.
And I haven't been prepared, but I totally lost it. I have gotten a bullseye in archery before.
The first one is a lie.
Nope, wrong.
It's the second one.
It's the second one. I've never been on a movie set before. Yeah. And this is like that awkward situation where if my parents were watching this, they'd probably text me and be like, "Hey, do you remember that time when you were 3 and we took you to the set of whatever?" And then I'd look like a fool. But no, I've been within arm's length of a deer in the wild before. It's kind of a lame story, but I'll tell it anyways. So I was skating once, and I longboard. Longboards go a little bit faster than skateboards, so you get going pretty fast. I was going down a hill, and I got down the hill and I rounded the curve, and it was kind of around 7, 8 p.m. ish. So it was like dusk, sunset-esque type, scenario or type time in the day. And so there's this deer just in the middle of the street, and it was a pretty secluded hill because I didn't want to get hit by a car. So this deer wasn't too worried about cars. But I just come barreling down this hill, and the deer was not expecting it. And it turns its head and looks at me. And by the time it turns its head, I'm already super close to it. I could have reached out and touched it, and it just it took off running into the forest. And I recovered from freaking out from almost hitting a deer on my longboard. And that was perhaps one of the scariest situations that I've been in. It's almost hitting a deer with my longboard.
Jeez.
And that's kind of one of my go-tos when I tell people a story that they are going to think is a lie, but it actually happened.
Yeah.
It actually happened.
Solid.
Okay. What do you got for me?
Okay. In 5th grade, I once got into an argument with a substitute teacher about how she was treating the classroom, and upon being threatened to being told to go to the principal's office, I volunteered to go to report her for her actions.
Sounds like a random thing to do.
In which case, she chose to settle, and we just talked it out. And then the next day, the teacher came in and was like, "Hey, I heard what happened. You did good."
Okay.
So I got props for my diplomacy in 5th grade. It's one. Another one. Same year.
5th grade?
Yeah.
What happened in that year for you, apparently? Unless this is the lie.
So, same year, same class. I was lifting up books to try to because we had something in the back where the books were sitting.
Uh-huh.
I was lifting them up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hold all of them. Some of them started to slip, and as they started to fall, one of them hit the person who was sitting down and said "ow." And since it was drawing attention from the classroom, this kid said "ow." When they all I just kind of pretended they all fell, and went down, and just stayed there. I was
pretending you were hurt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that no one would question what I was doing. And "Oh, is he okay? Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was totally fine.
And give me the last one.
Yeah. So, same year. Well, actually, this would be 1 year ahead. 1 year ahead.
Man, 5th and 6th grade for you. Goodness gracious.
So, I had a crush on a girl named Sierra. I don't remember her last name, but she had braces.
As people do in 6th grade. I had braces in 6th grade, I think.
I have braces now.
Yeah.
And of course, I was terrible at crushes back then, so I was letting her know very obviously. And a lot of my friends were into like just us getting together.
Okay.
So during one of our gym assemblies, we were sitting down in our section, and she and her friends are sitting down in the other section. Word passes from one to the other that she would totally like to go out with me. And like and like we go and we meet in like the little like cross area, because like at the school you had like the kind of imagine like a square, and like, in the middle of the square was like a little garden with like walkways to the 4 hallways.
Okay. So like a, I don't know what you call it, but a gathering place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we met there, and I found out that it was the wrong girl, and I was super embarrassed, and I couldn't like back out of it. So I just awkwardly was like, "Yeah, it's cool."
Oh.
Hey, just kind of played it under the rug, and then everyone grilled me about it for like the next like month.
So like you got the name wrong or something?
No,
and, like you were thinking it was a different person?
No, like I was talking about Sierra, blank, and they called it Sierra.
Oh
blank.
no! Yeah. Okay, I think the first one was a lie.
What was the first one?
The first one was the substitute teacher.
No, that happened.
What was the second one?
No, the second
was
one.
Was the second one?
No, that also happened.
The third one?
Yeah.
Wow, you tell an intricate lie. I don't know if I can trust you anymore. With it, are you really who you say? Is your name Randon or are you Brandon?
I might be a wizard. But no, the reason that one might have been hard is because most of that was true. She said no.
Ooh. That sucks. That sucks. I can see you got a cold one so you could recover from that burn.
I did.
Man, it hurts. 15 years later. Alright, well.
Askew. Sierra Askew.
Sierra Askew?
Yeah, like ASCHEW.
Where do you think she is now?
If I want to be positive...
Does she live in Cincinnati?
No.
Okay.
Alabama. So if I want to be positive, I would say she's doing well for herself, maybe finishing up with some type of college.
Yeah.
Or,
hopefully.
you know, maybe she's found the right guy, thinking about settling down, has an interesting job prospect, or at least is planning on going to some type of class or college. Being negative, though, maybe kids. Maybe like a bunch of kids. Really early. Like talking high school. Like 15, 16.
That's setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. But I don't know. Life is like a box of chocolates and choices.
You never know what you're going to get unless you look at the label.
Or
which case you do know.
Yeah. And you know you're going to get chocolates, though. Unless it's just
unless you're allergic to chocolates. Then it's bad news bears all around. Okay, well, I mean, I guess it's it for episode 2. Let's plug a local business in Cincinnati, and then we'll sign off.
All right. So last time we did Ryan Geist.
Yeah, we did Ryan Geist, and we did season 52, and Aladdin's last episode. Aladdin's. Who should we plug now?
We the best music.
Can't stop thinking about DJ Khaled.
I like Hyde Park.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice place. I don't know how nice it is at night.
Okay.
Just because I'm not sure how safe parks are at night in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I do recall being there kind of late in the evening and seeing the city from like a kind of high point from there. It's phenomenal. It's a great view.
This isn't necessarily a Cincinnati thing that I'm plugging. It's more of a state of Ohio thing. Renaissance Fair. Really fun. A lot of fun. I went there last weekend, 2 weekends ago. It was a pretty good time. Me and Kiana went and we ate some stuff and.
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
Who's Kiana?
My girlfriend. Hello.
And back together.
Wait, back together? What? We never.
No, I said tied it.
Tied it back together.
You said your girlfriend earlier, but you didn't say the name.
Oh, yeah. Well, for all the people out there, my girlfriend, her name's Kiana. We've been dating for. What's the date? Today's the 4th, as of 12/01. Today's my 1 year and 1 month anniversary with her. Hey. I should text her. I'm gonna do that.
1 year and 1 month though.
Nah, she'll think it's funny if I text her at 12:01 a.m. You know, it's not like a huge deal. It's just kind of she's super chill. We've never been super big about like steps like that because we both think it's kind of silly. Like when we first started dating, we were both just like 1 month means nothing, like 3 months means nothing. We'll celebrate when we get to like 6 months or a year, and we did, and it's been cool. But yeah, we went to the Renaissance Fair. Me and my girlfriend Kiana went. It was a lot of fun. She bought like some cool candles. I didn't really buy anything other than food, but we had a pretty decent time. So if you're ever without anything to do over the weekend and you feel like spending a little bit of money, go to the Renaissance Fair.
And it's October.
And it's October. So it feels real nice outside, which means that you should go.
Yes, you.
You
specifically.
Crank that soldier boy. Bringing it back from 2001. All right, cool. Well, I guess that's it for episode 2, right?
More like episode 2 Sky.
Episode 2 Sky. Oh no. And then the next episode we change like the format and we say it was always like this, exactly like they did in the game. Final Fantasy reference for those who didn't understand it. Cool. Well, we will see you guys in episode 3. Bye. Bye.